Despite the prisons reform agenda initiated in the year 2003 by the then government, most correctional facilities in Kenya are still in a deplorable condition, putting the lives of both inmates and prison officers at risk. A visit to most prisons in the country indicate minimal improvement in regards to inmates' conditions, with congestion and poor sanitation on top of that list. For this reason, the prisons are yet to fully turn into the envisioned correctional facilities. The state of Kenyan prisons has not only affected those within them, but the society at large. Begging the question, could the state of prisons be a contributor to the increased level of crime and insecurity within the country?
From an analysis that we did a conflict analysis, and many people told us that security is a big problem in Kisumu County. And one of the things that happens is even if the parents know that their son is a criminal, they would not want them to go to prison because they fear that if they go to prison, they will die.
People fall sick very frequently and we don't have adequate drugs. And because of that, we have lost quite a number of prisoners. I think it reached a stage where it became a national issue. You are aware that prisons are a very key component in the criminal justice system, because the society out there needs to have confidence that when they bring their people into prison because they made a mistake somewhere, they are supposed to come for correction and they leave the place safe but rehabilitated. But in a situation where prisoners will come to prison and the chances of dying are also very high, it discourages the society from volunteering their criminals to face justice because they fear they may lose their lives. That turns into insecurity in the form of impunity, because when a criminal knows that the relatives are fearful, they would not want to surrender him to prison because of the stigma, then they'll continue harassing the society and development will be very difficult. People will not live peacefully.
My work has taken me all around.
Local Capacities for Peace International LCPI, a non-governmental organization, has been on the forefront in promoting and funding security and peace-related initiatives across different parts of Kenya, Kisumu being one of them.
Our belief is that if there's no peace, there can be no growth. If there's no security, there can be no investment. And we were informed by the happenings in Kisumu, especially in the post-election violence that saw the town being branded as, one that had radical youths, but on one hand, and on the other hand, having security personnel that were firing at will to kill. And so over the years, we have been engaging with the security teams, the local administrators, and also the other wings of security, including the prison department.
In its effort to promote peaceful coexistence, LCPI is now more actively working with the prisons and other correctional departments, for it is through such partnership that meaningful progress can be made in the delivery of restorative justice. Even with the collaboration, Local Capacities for Peace International recognizes the other challenges of attitude change and the need to educate community members for them to embrace and support structured rehabilitation processes, not looking at inmates and those released from prisons as any less human.
It just feels bad. Being a capital remand, it's hard, and then everybody sees you like the worst person ever. But being in prison generally is just hard. It's just hard. And more so, living in such a place where you just believe that everyone who is here is a criminal, and they don't realize that there are some of us who are here, they are not criminals, but who are victims.
And I can tell you for a fact that there were people who were released from this prison. And there is a case of one man who could not even go back to his community alone because he didn't know how he will be received. If we have structures and support systems that, you even give them one counselor to take them back, and then also prepare the family, because who told you the family is prepared to welcome this person, because they've been branded. So what we are dealing with is also the branding of the inmates. These are human beings. with feelings. And yes, they may have committed crimes, but they're still human beings. And we who are still outside, it doesn't mean we are any better. And so just preparing the people who are welcoming them, but at the same time, preparing those who are inside.
It is very important for us also to know that these people are our people. God, who created us, is changing. It wants people to change. Even us, even if these people have done anything wrong, we should also be putting them in a such environment that we can redeem them. It is not about punitive kind of discipline. It is redeeming kind of discipline. No, redemption belongs to Jesus. And us as a church, we should back redemption, even for ourselves and for each other. That's very, very important.
Agre Onyango is the officer in charge of Kisumu Main Prison, famously known as Kodiaga Prison. He believes that if members of the public would change their attitude and embrace restorative values in resolving conflicts and responding to wrongdoing, then prison cells will not be as crowded.
They should know that when somebody offends within them, that person is part and parcel of them. They should ask themselves, why are these people offending? The prisons are full now. They should ask themselves, what is wrong out there? Why are they so flimsy, very small things? They want somebody to go to prison. They can't solve them within the community. If they would reduce the number of people coming to prison, the bill from the government will go down, and the government will now have more money to spend on maintenance and all that. But when we have a situation where we are already having an excess of prisoners in here, congestion and all that, how does the government now ensure that they do the right thing when the society is not playing ball?
Kenyan prisons have undergone reforms that have seen inmates treated much more humanely than was the case years ago. As such, the lives of prisoners have improved. On the other hand, there's still a lot to be done. In most prisons, the environment is traumatizing. In the end, it interferes with the rehabilitation process as it erodes both the individual worth and mental wellness of inmates. Ultimately, there's need to address the element of trauma and cultivate self-worth among inmates, thereby according them the dignity they deserve as human beings and treating them as such.
The prison is meant to correct the people. That's why in our jargon, we don't call them prisons, we call them correctionals. And it is to correct people. But how do you correct people? How do you change the lives of people if the environment in which these people are living is not good? Sometimes it gives them so much pressure, so much stress, because there's no hygienic place for them to live, the food is not good, and maybe where they're sleeping is not good, maybe the toilets are not good, they don't have water, one of those issues. And you cannot reform them when they're in that such bad environment, because it creates a spirit of rebellion.
And it's not just inmates. A look at some of the conditions that the prison wardens are exposed to paints a grim picture of prisons. Perhaps an explanation for their demotivation. There are serious challenges ranging from sanitation, congestion, broken sewerage systems, acute water supply, to lack of proper housing units.
The prison wardens, really, they do a lot of work. And to the best of my knowledge, not many people are paying attention to their needs. Not many people are paying attention to their mental wellness. And so all this trauma, by the virtue of the fact that they are dealing with inmates all the time, they themselves feel like prisoners. In actual sense, they are prisoners themselves, because their life is then confined within the prison precincts. And it is not every day that they get people to come, even to talk to them, even to encourage them. And what mostly the public does is to chastise them, is to blame them, and no appreciation.
Now right here, this place is dilapidated. But even the staff quarters, you go there, it is equally bad. At times even worse than here. So the officers who are working as prison officers also are demoralized. Not because they want to be bad people. But imagine a situation where you have such a poor surrounding here. You will not be happy. You can't be cheerful. You can't do your best. So you also need to be assisted to live well, so that you can offer your best. But when the public again starts to blame you when you already feel that you are already taking too much, it is stressful. So we must work together and try to bring out the best we can in collaboration with the stakeholders.
Local Capacities for Peace International has expertise in restorative justice and trauma-sensitive care. As such, the organization is rolling out targeted programs both within and outside prisons so as to promote conflict sensitivity as well as equip inmates with necessary tools for their reintegration.
We're coming into the prisons not to look at inmates as people who are victims and suffering, but as people who have potential, who have skills, they have talents. And we want to make them proud of being the individuals that they are. But then coupled with that, now to give them some life skills and also putting them in contact with other institutions that can give tangible support inside and outside the prison.
There's need for closer collaborations between agencies in the criminal justice system, the community, and all stakeholders in order to realize success in overall reforms and transformation of our society.
And as long as we don't partner with the prison authorities to try to educate and transform these citizens, because after all, they belong to us, they belong to our communities, then we will not be able to transform the society as a whole.